Welcome to the Ray Ann Show. This week, the city of Olympia painted 2 crosswalks the color of the transgender flag to celebrate Pride Month. The city government held a brief ceremony to inaugurate the newest addition to the downtown of Washington's capital. While I was out gathering footage, I ran into the city's mayor and asked her a few questions. So why is it important that Olympia painted the crosswalk?
Well, we are a sanctuary city. That means sanctuary for a lot of different things, basically anything to do with human rights. And trans lives are a human right issue, and they are being targeted across this nation, and it's escalating, and it's going to get worse next year with the presidential election, where they're going to be putting, making human rights a political football, which is not where they should be. So we feel like being one of the first communities in the United States to have crosswalks that represent our support for our trans families here and our neighbors. And so it's just what we needed to do.
Okay, and speaking on that, right now the right wing is basically there's a moral panic about what is being taught in our schools. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, I'm not on the school district board of directors, but I do follow, of course, what's happening across our nation with the politicization of, again, human rights. And, with the book bans and bans and like these legislation initiatives across the United States. 350 forms of legislation are out there right now to limit the rights of people in our communities. And, we have to take a stand.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, ma'am. Several members of the city government spoke at the event, and they expressed their support for Olympia's LGBT community. One even shared a personal story about her experience with bigotry. We will play it for you now.
I want to get a little personal because when I was asked to assist with rolling out this new crosswalk, I was very excited. But like many of you, I've been having a really hard time with all the anti-trans legislation this year. And it can't help but make me think of a moment that changed my life. 30 years ago, when I was 9 years old, there was a state vote on whether or not same-sex parents could be parents. And I found this out by asking someone that I randomly saw in the mall, and my heart was crushed when I thought about the idea of no longer having my moms as my parents. And I got the image that if enough people voted yes, the police would literally come and tear me away from my parents. As a 9-year-old, there's really not much more that you can threaten that's more terrorizing than that. I later found out that it was only about adoption and it wouldn't affect existing LGBTQ plus families. But still, that moment of powerlessness shaked me, and I realized I wanted to do something about it.
Despite the rising threats against the LGBT community, the event finished without incident. Thank you for watching, and happy Pride.